Lowe's knows how to get you ready for holiday hosting with up to 35% off select home decor. And get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, members get free delivery, haul away, basic installation, parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select LG major appliances. Valid through 10/1. Member offer excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, and Florida. Installed by independent contractors. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Greetings and welcome to Pickled Watermelon Rinds, a guilty pleasure podcast featuring Antie Joan and Ontie, providing our zesty and marginally mature take on current events, pop culture, and trends. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Well, hello, Auntie Joan. How are you today?
Hi, Auntie. I'm okay. How are you?
Oh, just fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I found a new acupuncturist in the Netherlands. There's actually 2 over there. I chose one and went with it. And I really like her. Her name is Nandy, Nandy. And I hadn't been to acupuncture in over a year. I loved my other girl up in Idaho Springs. Just don't like the building she moved into, and the parking is, she's now on like that main street in Idaho Springs.
Yeah.
Not the side with the soup place, the one that has all the shops and all that. You know what I mean? Minor Street. It's just a pain. It's a pain. And she's got a shop attached to it now, and the walls aren't that thick. So if people are in the shop, and I just, it's too bad, because at one point she talked about moving to Blackhawk, and that would have been ideal because she would have been 15 minutes from my house.
Wow.
And that would have been amazing, but she ended up going the other way, further into Idaho Springs from where her original facility was. So, but yes, really like Nandy a lot. I do highly recommend acupuncture if folks have never tried it. And you don't, I mean, I hate needles, but this is not like getting an injection.
Mm-hmm.
I really can't say enough. My neck was bothering me, and I woke up the next morning after acupuncture.
Really?
Totally fine. It's witch doctorness, I'm telling you. It's weird. I don't get it. I mean, I get it. I get what they're doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're just opening up the chi channels and all that wonderful stuff. And it's if your neck's bothering you, there's actually, the point is in between, I think on your thumb somewhere on your hand. And I'm just like,
Yeah, that is crazy.
It's interesting, and it works.
Acupuncture is I believe the only alternative medicine practice that I actually believe in, that I would spend money on. I mean, all these other things that, I don't believe in. I think they're just quacks. But this one, and you know why? Because years and years and years ago, I saw a thing, I think on 60 Minutes, where they did a thing, honest to God, they did a thing on acupuncture, and they actually showed women delivering babies with just acupuncture. Yeah. And there was like no pain. Now, maybe this was after I smoked a little too much, loco weed, but I mean, it's not done. Today, it's just not done. So I don't know, but I believe in it. I had it done, I think, once or twice, and because of my hip, before I had my hip replacement. And when she stuck that needle in the top of my head, I could just feel that whatever thing that she hit it. And that was impressive. So
yeah, it's the coolest thing. I'm sad that I hadn't been in so long. I was watching Killian get it every other week.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to go back. And I'm like, that's it. I'm pulling the trigger. I'm doing it. It's happening. It's happening. So finally got back, and I'll be going back to her probably like once a month, just for like a little wellness.
It's amazing what we'll spend on our pets before we'll spend on ourselves, isn't it?
His costs way more than what mine cost. So
I think it was Stella, my German Shepherd. She was having issues in her lady parts.
Mm-hmm.
And the vet had mentioned, well, maybe we could do like a rejuvenation. Yeah. And I said, if I ain't getting it, she ain't getting it. That was a bridge too far.
A little bit. I agree. But Speaking of the Beastie Boy,
Yes.
well, I went out to get the mail. That is literally, folks, it's just a mile to get to where my mailbox is from my house. Or is it a mile round trip? I don't remember. It's a half mile. I don't remember. We used to walk it, but I don't trust this neighborhood anymore with loose dogs and wild animals and all that wonderful stuff. So we don't walk this neighborhood anymore. That's why we always go down the hill for his walks. Anywho, so I jumped in my car. So what did it take me? 2 minutes to get there, if that, and 2 minutes back maybe. So I put Beast in his dog run. I go out and get them. I go run over to get the mail. I come back and I pull in. And just as I'm getting out of the car to go around to let him out of his indoor dog run area, he turns around like he wants to go back out to the outside dog run. And I was like, oh, like you didn't go to the bathroom in the time I was gone? I'm like, all right, go. So he goes back out through his dog door and I have a window there. And I'm looking through the window. Next thing I know, the Beast killed a chipmunk while I was gone.
No.
And like stomped on it because it was flattened. So a chipmunk. Now, so I had seen a chipmunk go in his dog run once before.
Yes.
But he wasn't in it when we were actually on the deck. And I looked over and I was like, now how'd you get yourself in there? And then of course I was trying to figure out how the hell to get out of it as I'm talking to it. I'm like, you better figure it out because he's going to need to go in there at some point. And it finally did. It went back out the way it came in and I saw how it got in and I put rocks there to kind of build it up so hopefully he wouldn't try it again. I don't know if he came in the same way or a different way. I don't know what happened, but it was in the corner and Killian thought it was a squeaky toy. He was basically pouncing on it. Like... And it was squeaking because I watched the video because I'm like, when did this happen? Like, how long has this chipmunk been dead in your dog run that I didn't see it? I mean, I clean his dog run every day. So I'm like, when did this happen? And so I went back. I couldn't watch the whole video. It's not.
You didn't put it on YouTube
it was
or
like a
TikTok
massacre. I'm just like, oh my God.
Put a link to it on our web, on our...
No. Absolutely not. It was disgusting. But thankfully, I wasn't gone very long. So he wasn't playing with it for long. I don't know. But when he went back outside, he had it in his mouth. And that's why I was like, what is that? Drop it! Freaking out. Threw him back inside the house. And then I got the shovel out and had to go give it to the woods. And hopefully a coyote ate it as a little snack. I don't know. And he was all proud of himself. He didn't think anything of it, of course. He was just like, what? I won't get too graphic, but there was a hole involved. And I think he was trying to get the squeaker out.
Oh my gosh.
He's so gross.
Well, you know why he did it? Because you bitched so much about the chipmunks. He felt it would make you proud and make you happy.
Absolutely. I was going to put that chipmunk on a little stake in front of the house so that it would warm the other ones. This is what happens if you come near us. But of course, I know I wasn't. I was really grossed out by the whole scenario. I contemplated even calling my neighbor over to help me get rid of it. And I'm like, you need to put your big girl pants on. You got a shovel.
Yeah.
Go get the shovel. I took care of it myself, but I did not want to. I'll tell you that.
Now, this is the woman that moved up into the hills so, she could be with nature and stuff. She loves getting the moose and the bears and doesn't even mind a coyote.
No, I don't. I hate coyotes. Let's be clear.
Yeah, but you're not out with a shotgun trying to kill them. No. So now you get a little tiny chipmunk and boy, you sick that big monster on it. And poor thing. And then you get mad at him.
I didn't get mad. I was grossed out by it.
Oh, yeah. Then you get grossed out by it.
No, I wasn't mad at. I mean, I wish he didn't do that.
Yeah, I know.
But I totally get how it all happened. It was just
out.
I think that's exactly what. Because it was quite gross. Anyway, I thought you wanted to know what your nephew was up to.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Let's move on to a more positive conversation. Tell us about the wonderful class you've been taking.
So about a little over a year ago, I took this Christmas ornament class with Sandy B from Anna Balzan in Longmont, and she offers this garden totem class, and I thought they looked pretty cool. So
Nice.
I signed up for it. I was supposed to take it in July, but at that time we were in the middle of 90-degree weather, and I thought, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I postponed till September. So anyway, here we are. I've taken 2 sessions so far. The last one is next week. Next week we'll assemble it, but the first week I think was supposed to be from 9 to 1. And what it was is she had little pattern pieces for our totems, and she provided us with a 1/2 inch thick, like 11 by 17-inch slab of clay. So we would trace out the pieces and provide texture to them, add any underglaze or under whatever it is you use on them at that point, and it was exhausting. I think I finally left at about 3:30. And of course, now this, since I'm a night owl and the class started at 9 a.m., I got about 3.5 hours of sleep the night before. So anyway, it was quite exhausting, but fun and creative nevertheless, because she's got these rollers and stamps and other patterns and things you can use to create texture and patterns and stuff on these pieces of clay that will turn into what will be our totems. And we had 2 choices. You could either do the horse as the bottom critter or a chicken. And I looked at the chicken and I thought, you know what? That looks easier than the horse. So I'm going to do the chicken. Plus, I like the other little things you added on top of it. So I did the chicken. Last Saturday, she had fired what we did the first week. So it was now like that white bisque, porous, dried clay that you apply your glazes to and all that stuff. So we did that last Saturday. You know, like when we did the bowls, we were given some stuff to paint, designs and stuff on the bowls, and then that was it. Then they would take it and they would glaze it, and that would be it. You know, we were done with it. Anna has so many different ways you can apply color and scribbing into the clay, and it's just, the possibilities are endless. So it was a little overwhelming the first week trying to keep straight, okay, do I put this on now or do I put it on after it's fired, and how anyway. So I felt much better after last Saturdays, and I really started feeling rather creative, and the possibilities, she's got some really neat things, like little, oh, you'll love this, water collectors, like a flower petal for bees, to attract bees and butterflies, yeah, and hummingbirds, you know, to get water. And oh, they're so cute. They're really pretty. So she's got all kinds of little stuff she's working on, which just really sparks the creative juices. So anyway, next Saturday we'll be assembling it. Like I said, there's holes in each one of them, so they get stacked on top of a piece of rebar or some other type of metal. And then I think what I'll do is stick it in a big pot and leave it on the front porch. I don't want to stick it into the ground, I don't think. So anyway, they're really cool. And we'll put a link to her website where she has samples of these totems. And then next week, after I get mine all assembled and such, then I'll send a couple pics that we can post. It's kind of like you put the paints, you put the glazes, you put oxides, you add oxides, you put this on and you just hope for the best. You kind of have idea of how it's going to turn out, but you don't know. I just hope it turns out okay, but I'll be happy with whatever I get.
Very
Amen.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, that was one of the things with the pottery class I had taken years ago that I didn't appreciate about pottery, is that my skills at pottery weren't very good regardless, but the colors and not being able to get the color to come out the way that I had it in my head, and then you get the piece and you're like, it's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful lesson in letting go and just, this is how it came out, and appreciate what you got. But I was frustrated and no.
Yeah,
my
I guess
mentality couldn't take it.
if you're a control freak, it probably isn't for you. Although, well, even the best ceramicists or potters, I'm sure, they never exactly know exactly what's coming out of that kiln. Yeah.
Right.
But you know what is cool is ragu. Have you ever seen the
Ragu,
ragu?
the spaghetti sauce. I do like ragu spaghetti sauce.
Ragu.
Ragu.
They put it in a oven or kiln until it reaches a certain temperature, a certain consistency, and then they take it out while it's still hot, and then they'll put it in like a stack of leaves or sawdust or something like that, and put a cover on it so it all kind of gets it's horsehair, so it comes out with metallic and
Oh.
really beautiful. Yeah, beautiful designs. It's not usually food safe.
Hmm.
I even did a couple of those a long time ago. I wonder where I put those. I'll have to dig them out.
Yeah. Actually, yes. Do that, because I'm sure you'd have to go through pretty much the whole house to find them. Yeah, won't you give me that look? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Oh,
that's
I bet
cool.
they're on the back porch. I'll start there.
Perfect.
So that was my excitement for the week.
Fun.
What about you, Auntie? Did you do anything exciting?
Well, I think we briefly I don't know if we did actually talk about it. I think we talked about it offline, not actually on the recording session. Anyway, I decided to do a week of no screens, folks. And it was. So to help me through the week of no screens, I scheduled the acupuncture appointment, figuring that would like get me into a nice Zen state. I've read quite a bit, which is fine. I had some good books to read, so that was good. Well, one of them wasn't great, but it's all right. I did go through all of my AARP magazines and stuff that I'd stockpiled, so that's all done now. And I said, I'm going to need some other kind of distraction. So very impromptu, just before I started the No Screens, I booked a trip to go up to South Dakota to go see Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse based on Antie Joan's recommendation, as well as another friend of mine's recommendation. I stayed at like a KOA campground, but in an actual cabin, because I did bring Killian with me. I wanted to take some pictures with him and with a little mother-son time together. He's a trooper. He does very well on car rides. Oddly enough, he doesn't complain at all. Whenever I stop and ask him to get out, he gets out. Sometimes, I have to say, both times that we did a mid-trip break, because it's about 6.5 hours from my house up to that area in South Dakota, which is, depending on what you look at, technically Mount Rushmore is in a town called Keystone, but Hill City is right there. So I don't exactly know where the KOA campground that I was at falls, because it was very close to Mount Rushmore, but it wasn't at Mount Rushmore. I don't know. Anywho, so I'm going to start with Mount Rushmore right quick, because that is quick and easy to talk about. I did not do anything other than take Killian's picture at Mount Rushmore. We did not spend any time there. The pass that I got, I think it was $10 to get in, $5 to get in, something like that. Both were inexpensive, Crazy Horse and Mount Rushmore. So I could have gone back, because the pass for Mount Rushmore was actually good for 5 days. I'm like, who the hell comes here for 5 days? What could you possibly do here for 5 days? Maybe there is, because I never went actually inside and looked at anything. So maybe there's more things you can do. Like, I don't know if there's like hiking trails and stuff. I don't know, but I'm like, who would use this for 5 days? And I passed by the entrance at first, and I had to do a U-turn further down the road when I realized what I did wrong. And some guy was stopped outside the road, and there was a lookout there. So I actually took the very first picture of Mount Rushmore without Killian from this roadside viewing point, then went back into the actual parking lot, and we followed the little paw prints, because Killian wasn't allowed in much. He could only go up to the very front pillars, and that's as far as he could go. And then we went down into the woods area a little bit, and there was another overlook from like a park bench where dogs could be. You could definitely see Mount Rushmore. You couldn't see Teddy very well, but you could see George and Thomas and Abe. But Abe was more of a side view, so he was kind of blocking Teddy. That was the issue. So it wasn't a great... Oh, actually, I think that was at the roadside one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But at the one where the park bench was in the actual Memorial Park, the trees were starting to grow in a little bit. So it was very difficult to have Killian sit and me get the right angle up and not have the trees in the way. So snapped a couple of them. Those probably won't get posted anywhere, but they're just nostalgic for me. So then we went back up to the pillars and took his picture, and he was not cooperative at all. I did get some pictures. I did get a couple of good ones where I think But I just constantly had to just keep snapping because I'm like, he is just not having it. He's like, I don't want to pose for you anymore. So then we left and we went to Crazy Horse.
Let me, before you go further, were
Mhm.
you surprised at the size of Mount Rushmore?
At the size. No.
To me, it was smaller than I had expected. I thought it
No.
would be bigger than it was.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I know.
What I found interesting about it, and I don't know anything about it, was it still looked very pristine to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's been a long time since
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
done. So that I found very interesting. And I'm sure if I had gone inside, I assume there's been restoration efforts over the years to make them continue to look pristine, or the rock just held up that well. I would think it would get weathered in some way. I don't know.
You would think, yeah.
But they
You would
looked
think.
like they just got finished being sculpted yesterday.
Yeah, you would think there would be mold and
Yeah.
or moss or something because it's so humid up there too.
Right? And
Yeah.
they looked perfect. And I was like, oh. So that struck me. I was like, oh, I
Did you
expected
see-
this to be a little bit more weathered.
Did you see the backside of
Mm-mm.
Mount Rushmore?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Why? What's the back? What's in with the back of their heads?
no. Well, I thought I sent you a email or something with a picture of the backside. Okay, I'll do that after we're done here.
Oh, okay. Then we went to Crazy Horse. And yes, both Auntie Joan and a friend of mine had said that they both found Crazy Horse way more interesting and all that. Either I wasn't paying attention to what you guys were saying, or you didn't say this part. I don't know what, but I get there with Killian. There was a little bit of a snafu about where he could go, where he couldn't go, and blah, blah, blah. No big deal. We got that resolved. I do have to say, some of the front workers are not the friendliest.
Oh, they have front workers, huh?
What does that mean?
Well, I don't know. You said front workers.
Like at the front where you go in?
oh, okay.
Yeah,
At the park area.
At the park, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. But we got through that. So I was like, Killian, and of course he was already like, we just did Mount Rushmore. Now you want me to sit for more pictures? Like, you got to be kidding me, lady. So he was not very cooperative there either. But again, got some pictures. And so I get there, I look up and I'm like, oh, they must be doing some restoration because there's a goddamn crane up there. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'll have Auntie Joan Photoshop that out for me. That's what I'm going to do. And have Auntie Joan Photoshop it out for me. So took pictures with Killian, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, time for you to go back to the cabin and chill out. And I'm going to come back. I'm going to start with Crazy Horse and decide if I'm going back to Mount Rushmore. So brought him back to the cabin, had some lunch, and then back out to Crazy Horse I go. So what I did not understand was it's still a work in progress. That I did not know.
Ah.
And I think I would have tried to take pictures with Killian a little bit differently. Like I thought that crane was there because it was to restore him, not that they're actively still carving him. It is 77 years in since they started.
Wow, 77 years. huh?
Started in 1948. The current estimation is it will be fully completed in 50 more years.
That sounds about.
And that I did not get either. And I was like, oh my God. I thought it was just like Mount Rushmore was just his head. And that was done. So, and that's why I thought it was just being restored. And thankfully I took the little bus tour for an extra whole $5 and learned all about the sculptor. I heard all the backstory about the sculptor and everything else. And we got a closer view, which Killian couldn't go on,
Oh,
unfortunately.
nice.
Yes, we got closer to the monument itself. So I've got much better pictures because now it's his head and his arm is done and his hand. So it's his left arm reaching out and pointing. That's all done now. But they still have the horse to do. They still have his hair, part of his body on the horse. Like there's a lot left to do. And that crane is not for restoration. What they've done is the crane was just put in like within the past month. And they finally got a robotic arm. And they're going to start using a robotic arm. Up until now, it has all been manual. All of it. So if it continued to be manual is where they get the 50-year estimate. Now that they have the robotic arm, it'll likely speed things up a little bit, but they won't have a better projection for another 5 5 years. So they need 5 years doing the work with the robotic arm to truly estimate when they think it's truly going to be finished. I was so blown away by this whole story. I'm telling my niece and my nephew, go see it now and go back every 10 years. I'm going to go back every 10 years until I can't anymore. It won't be finished in my lifetime, even with the robotic arm. And because I do not believe I'll hit those high numbers. Who knows? But I also can't see me trekking up to South Dakota either. But they will be able to see it done. And I'm like, you guys have to go see it now. And you have to promise to go back every 10 years to check on the progress until it's done.
I'm so glad that it impressed you.
Incredibly.
Yeah, because it did me. And I saw it like 40 years ago before that arm was, I don't even know if they even, I think they had it kind of shaped a little bit, but not so you could tell it was actually an arm, and forget the hand and the finger pointing, but the whole story about him. And oh my gosh. Now who doing the work now? Is it still his family?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They're still leading it. 2 sons are still leading it. And there's grandchildren who are involved now as well. The daughter is more on the business side. So she's more like with the board of directors and things like that. She's more involved in that side. But the sons are actively on the mountain working it.
Did they tell you in the bus trip or whatever about how he'd be up at the top, chipping away, and then the generator would go out and he'd have to go all the way? Yeah, isn't that something?
Yes, because when it all first started, folks, the only way to get up to the mountain, they built a staircase, and it is a straight up, practically a ladder, but they called it a staircase. I could never, and I'm so afraid of heights. There's no way. And this generator, he would start it, it was on the ground, and it would go, I think one day he had to go up and down the stairs 3 times to restart the generator. The whole story is just incredible. It starts with Chief Henry Standing Bear, who passed away in 1953. So remember, this all got started. The work started, ground broke in 1948. So he passed at the age of 84, but he had reached out to this sculptor who gained recognition at the 1939 World's Fair.
And his name was, do you have his name there?
I do.
He was Polish, wasn't he?
Yes, I'm getting there. You just hold on.
Okay.
Building a story here.
All right, sorry.
And the sculptor was actually born in Boston, but he is of Polish descent. And his name is Korczak Ziolkowski. I don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly, but I'm definitely saying his first name correctly.
Ziolkowski.
Yes. And he not only had a display at the 1939 World's Fair, he was a sculptor in Connecticut. So back a little linkage. So Polish linkage to Antie Joan, Connecticut linkage to Auntie. At the time that he accepted the offer from Standing Bear to come and sculpt this figure, it was a true person, Crazy Horse, but he never wanted to be photographed. He wanted to be buried in an unmarked grave, kind of thing. Like he did not. So there is some controversy in the Native American world about, some people do think that what they're doing up in South Dakota is a wonderful tribute to their heritage. Some think it's a little bit against what Crazy Horse, the person, wanted because they're now memorializing a face to the name, and he never wanted any of that kind of stuff. I could understand how that's a little, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, I would probably lean more towards it's an amazing memorial.
Yes.
It's an amazing memorial. Come on,
and
folks.
there's going to be controversy in anything.
Of course. Korczak's wife, Ruth Ross, she came out. She wasn't his wife at the time. They were working together in Connecticut. She came out like a year or 2 later after Korczak. They ended up getting married. They had 10 children.
Yeah. And he and the thing that got me is going up and down those steps how many times a day and still having the wherewithal to sire 10 children.
I think she did all the work.
I know, but just having the energy to
lay there,
spit them out, as it were. Oh my gosh.
When Standing Bear first sent a letter to Korczak asking him if he would be willing to come out and to the Black Hills of South Dakota to be the sculptor for this project. He has a famous quote saying, he ended the letter famously by saying, "My fellow chiefs and I would like the white man to know the red man has great heroes too." And that's written on the wall as soon as you walk in the visitor center.
Oh, wow.
So it's, I mean, it was moving from start to finish. I said, in hindsight, not knowing, I would have rather have done the tour first, then brought Killian and taken better pictures. Because I don't think I got a single picture with the arm because I couldn't see it. It was so far away. I couldn't see it well enough. And again, I thought it was all about the head anyway. I thought it was a Mount Rushmore thing. So I didn't realize that there was more to it. And I was also trying to get that what I thought was like restoration crap equipment out of the picture enough. Anyway, no big deal. I still got there's one picture of Killian that I like because Killian was sideways. So he's sideways just like Crazy Horses. So yeah. And again, it was all like, just keep snapping because I don't know what this guy's doing. He's just all over the place. So it was a miracle I got that. A miracle that I got that. Let's see. Crazy Horse sculpture will be over 9 times taller and 10 times longer than Mount Rushmore when completed. Isn't that insane?
It is. It is.
And when we took the little bus ride and got closer, I mean, you could tell then from where at the visitor center and stuff where Killian was allowed to be, it was so far in the distance. I really didn't have that kind of perspective on it. And we had a great tour guide on the bus thing. He was very good. Anyway, and one of Korzak's famous lines that he's known for also is never forget your dreams. Oh, they've turned down government funding twice in the millions and millions of dollars because they didn't think that the government would go through with completing the project. So,
well, and they were afraid too that they would bastardize the whole place and turn it into not what it was intended to be, turn it into more of a tourist thing, Right. And so it's fully funded solely on the entry fees, which I told you, I think it was $10 to get in. Now, I think it depended on how many people you had in your car. So it was just me. They didn't count Killian as a person. So I paid $10. I think it's a little bit more the number of people you have in your car, but it's not like $10 per person. I forget. It's exponential, but I don't remember exactly because I didn't care. I wasn't paying it. And donations and private donations. That's it. That is the only way that they're funding this. I commend them for it. And I love, because when I go to Europe and see various sites or churches that were built back in the day and all that stuff, or museums or just like the Colosseum and stuff, how old those things are and how long they took to build. I always think, geez, there's like really nothing in the United States that's really like that. Like bridges, I'm sure back in the day when they were first, like the Golden Gate Bridge, I gotta believe took a long time. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but there's not a lot of that. And come to find out, we had this wonderful memorial being built in today's day. If it really takes another 50 years, that will be 127 years that it took for this to be built. That's cool. That is historical to me. That's a compelling story. And I was just so blown away by it. Yeah. I'm so glad.
I can't say enough about it. Mount Rushmore, I don't know if it's anything worth, it was good to see. Glad I can say I saw it. I got pictures with Killian with it. I don't have a single picture of me with Mount Rushmore, but I did take a selfie with Crazy Horse. I was completely blown away. And I want to donate. I want to, and Antie Joan, I brought you back something. Forgot.
No gifts. No gifts.
You're going to like this. It's a piece of rock from.
Oh, did they let you take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a big pile in the.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You didn't have to leave so technically, yes, I left a donation, but you didn't have to take it. I wanted to based on the story. Yeah. So it's really not it's really like a rock but it's a super freaking cool rock. And it's, decent size. It's in my car.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. I said Auntie Joan would like this.
I might put that in the planter with my garden totem.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes.
Now here's, to me, he is the sculptor. I think he is a symbol of what most of us should strive to be. He's got that tenacity and the drive and the wherewithal to stick to itiveness. But here's the real important question I wanted to ask you about that trip. Did you make it to Wall Drug?
Oh my God, those stupid signs. I never saw it. I never actually came across it, but there are signs in the middle of freaking nowhere. So Wyoming is god awful to drive through. The east side of Wyoming, boring. This is actually the second time I've done it. I actually did go up with Hayes. We didn't go to Mount Rushmore or anything like that. It was for something else. And we drove it and it was terrible. And it got no better that was going back 20 something years. So I thought maybe something would be built up along the sides of the road or nothing. There is nothingness. It is terrible. It is the most boring drive ever. And if you go up, make sure you do a potty break in Cheyenne. If you're coming from Colorado, you do a potty break in Cheyenne where there is civilization, because after Cheyenne, it is destitute into these little teeny weeny, and one is a stretch of over an hour with nothing. No gas stations, no convenience stores, no nothing. And I did not know that. And kept promising Killian, we're going to stop soon. We're going to stop soon. And then,
is it a 2-lane or a 4-lane highway?
It's 2-lane, but it does have every now and again, each side gets a passing lane, a true passing lane. Not just the dotted lines, a true passing lane, but it's not 4-lane the whole way. No.
Now, when I took that trip up with my first husband, we went up like you did through Wyoming, and he had like a 1968, 1972 Oldsmobile or something. Mm-hmm. And the axle broke on it while we were, in eastern Wyoming. And we must have been close enough. I don't remember exactly, but we did get to a gas station. And it was one of those things like you see in the movie. We ended up sitting outside there for, I don't know how long, till it got fixed. And
it's no joke.
Were the crowds pretty small? Were there many people?
There were definitely people there. I wouldn't call it crowded, really. I never felt like it was overly crowded. I mean, people annoy me because people just annoy me, but it wasn't based on like claustrophobicness with.
No,
it wasn't that. It wasn't that bad. I can only imagine what it's like in the summer.
Yeah.
With all the kids and everything else. I had that going for me. There were on my little bus tour, there was not a single child. It was fantastic. There's a lot of old people, but I'm okay with that.
I was just thinking that. Did you have to wait for him to get in the bus with their walkers? And
it was a lot of old people, but I'm okay with that. That I can do. The children, no, thank you. I mean, there were kids there. There was none on my bus.
Yeah. You have to learn a different type of patience when you're being with old people.
Yes.
Yes. We just take a little longer to do things.
Yes. And I was fine because I was on no schedule. I mean, that's the whole thing we went up for was Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse. We had nothing else planned. We did nothing else.
How did Killian do when you left him in the cabin alone?
I brought his crate.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Had to bring his crate. And that's why I ended up renting a proper cabin versus this smaller units or staying at the lodge itself, because all the rest of them, you couldn't leave the dogs unattended. But in the cabin, there was no such stipulation, or rule. So I was ponied up more money than I should have for the cabin. But Killian's not going to be on the next 10-year trip with me up there. So it's like, you know what? It's just fine. I'm okay with it. My baby boy gets to see stuff. Oh my God. And there's something else I have to tell you and telling everybody. It's just how stupid I am. You're going to love this. All my life, since my history classes back in the day, okay?
Yeah.
Up until this past week, I thought it was General Custard with the D, like the dessert. And I kept seeing signs like Custer this, Custer that, Custer. And I was like, who's this Custer?
That?
What is happening? And then part of the Crazy Horse Memorial, the video. So that was a screen one of the screens I allowed myself in my no screen week was the video of the story. They said that, something about Custer, and it had the subtitle on because a lot of old people there remember. Custer, it was all subtitled. I said, Custer's last stand. I'm like, holy shit. Is that right? Is that right? I never knew that. I literally learned that this week, that it's Custer, Custer. Because I was even on Custer Street. I think that my one of the streets I took to get to the KOA campground was Custer Street, Never hit me. I had no, I could have been blue as far as I was concerned. It didn't mean anything to me.
Were you much of a Clue player back in the day?
But that's
'Cause,
General Mustard.
I'm thinking Colonel Mustard, so Colonel Custard would kind of
No,
fit in
this
with
was, this
Huh.
has nothing to do. It was all, so now keep in mind, back in my day in school, there was no like video or, you know what I mean? So I read it. I read this, but in my head, it was custard with a D. Yeah.
And
yeah.
Culver's wasn't even invented then, I bet.
Do you believe that crap? I got
one for you.
And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait to tell this on the podcast. That's hysterical.
I got one for you. So I was probably just last year. Now, granted, I'm in my mid 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I always had difficulty figuring out which one is Alabama and which one is Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Those two always confused me. I could never get it straight. And then it finally hit me last year. Oh my gosh, Mississippi is the state that borders the Mississippi River. Why didn't anybody tell me that?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, I mean, just because the names are the same, it would make sense to me that, you know, Mississippi River was in some way tied to Mississippi, but I couldn't tell you what else this Mississippi River runs through. I know it doesn't just run through Mississippi. I have no idea. We never had a proper geography class.
Yeah. Yeah,
Never
you people
did.
on the East Coast, once you got west of the Hudson River, you were lost. All of you people, New Yorkers
Nope.
especially.
Yep. We never had proper geography classes. I used to have a globe and I finally got rid of it because, you know, in Europe and Asia and things change all the time. So the globe was outdated, unfortunately. But yeah, I asked my mother to get me a globe for Christmas one year. So I knew where things were.
Well, I think that still applies. I mean, when you go to the Middle East or even some European countries, you don't know what. It was only a couple years ago I realized it was Norway that borders Russia, and Moscow is on the west end of Russia. I always thought it was the east end.
Yeah. But even the United States, but I do know that Louisiana is next to Mississippi. That's how I know where Mississippi is. And Alabama borders Florida, right?
I think just a
little bit of it. Not yet, because Florida goes way down. Yeah.
The panhandle is they call
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Now, Arkansas, on the other hand, is that between Mississippi and Alabama, or is that above Alabama?
Oh no, it's
Where the hell is Arkansas?
It's above Louisiana.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think it's Missouri.
Missouri. Yeah.
But see, I spent a lot of time in Illinois, so I know the Mississippi River.
Mm-hmm.
And then driving back to Wisconsin, of course, we'd have to cross it to get to Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's hope these future generations have a little bit better geography skills.
No, they don't.
Now,
care.
because they'll just use their Google Maps or their
iPhone
maps and stuff.
Yeah.
It won't matter. It just won't matter.
How did you do using your Google Maps?
I wasn't the best at the no screens thing because I didn't trust what I printed out. I didn't trust that what I printed out was going to be accurate. So I actually used my app to get there and back. I know. I had it all. And I was just like, God, if this is wrong, I'm going to be pissed.
Wow. And see, I'm the complete opposite. I want a map that I can follow in my hand.
But the thing, it also doesn't, not that Google Maps really did anything for this particular instance for this trip, but had there been an accident or extreme traffic or whatever, it does guide you around it or take you, back roads to get around it kind of thing. Whereas, because you can't print out enough detail. Like I would have to get like a map from like AAA that actually has all of the details of all the different roads and stuff like that. Because even when you print it out from Google Maps, you get a map, sure, but it's not detailed. So if an accident like that happened, you would just be stuck sitting there. And even though going around it would add time, at least you're moving. Like I'd rather be moving than just sitting, especially it was sunny. So, and just sitting there and worrying about Killian in the back and all that. So I'm just like, no, I'm using the app. So I did use it for that. And I also once from muscle memory without thinking pulled up Facebook. And as soon as I got opened, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You're not supposed to be on screens, and got out immediately. So I did a blip of that. And then because I had no cell service at the actual cabin, I texted you, and Hasty tried calling me, and I tried to answer, but it didn't go through. It was just like when the fiber got cut here that time. I had like one tiny, tiny little bar, and the Wi-Fi was non-existent. They had something, but it kept getting kicked off. It was atrocious. So I had to text her because I didn't want her to think I was on the side of the road dead somewhere. So I had to text her back real quick. So it wasn't as clean as I wanted it to be. Certainly no social media. Like I said, that one little blip into Facebook, and like I said, as soon as it came, I'm like, what, you dummy, and got out of it. But I have to say, towards the end, I got a little depressed. Friday, I was just gonna say, screw it. One last day, no big. I'm just gonna watch stuff, and I didn't. I stuck it out, but it was weird. Yeah. I don't know if a week's good for me to do something like that again, or maybe I truly have to go on a trip for an entire week and do it, because I do have to say, when I travel, other than Google Maps, which I do use as like walking around cities and things like that, I'm never on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that when I'm actually on a trip.
Yeah.
So maybe I just do that. I don't know, but yeah, it was yeah, it was weird.
Well, and there was some excitement last week that you missed, but we won't go into that.
There was, and I only found out about it the next Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So.
And in that case, you were probably fortunate to not have all that bombarded on you. Because, well, of course, you're not as bad as I am. When something comes up, I do go on X, and I want to find out what everybody's saying. And, well, not quite that bad, but I do like to see the pros and cons. Let's put it that way. And interesting. So, but on to bigger and better things.
Yes, your Gen Z success measurements.
Oh, let me see. So this Steve Kornacki, if you ever watch MSNBC, he does the statistics stuff, all the numbers when they have elections and polls and things like that. So the NBC News Decision Desk poll asked Gen Z adults, 18 to 29 years old, what they consider important in a successful life. They showed men versus women. Men who voted for Trump versus women who voted for Harris. And for the men who voted for Trump, 34% said the number one that was important to a successful life was having children. And the women who voted for Harris, 51%, said fulfilling job and career was the most important for a successful life, where 6% of those women said having children was most important. I found that kind of interesting. And the men, having children, financial independence, fulfilling job, career, being married, owning a home, being grounded spiritually, that kind of surprised me that men in general would feel that way, that they're almost more leaning towards domesticity. You know what I'm saying? But I think maybe it's wanting more going back to how things used to be.
Maybe.
Yeah, where women want to move forward. Yeah, 6% women, 6% having children, and 6% being married were important to a successful life.
Well, let's qualify that. It's not all women.
Right.
It's
women who voted for Harris.
Right. And it's not all men. It's men who voted for Trump.
Voted for Trump. Yes. Yeah.
I actually didn't find this that compelling, because I think it would have been more interesting if those results were based on similar
cross sections.
Yeah.
Just men in general and women in general.
Or men who voted for Trump, women who voted for Trump, men who voted for, versus, because of course there was going to be differences. Like I was like, this doesn't seem like a great poll to me. And personally, when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay.
I wonder if there was more to that poll that they just didn't put out there. I might do a little digging on that. Enough of that.
But I did come back and went to a wonderful comedian last night. His show down at the Ball Arena in Denver. And it was Nate Bargatze, the Big Dumb Eyes Tour. Guys.
Is that the name?
Yeah. If you have not seen a stand-up by Nate Bargatze, you are absolutely 100% missing out. Probably in the past 5 to 10 years, really exploded on the scene. And he's done some great things on SNL. He's been on SNL a couple of times, and both times he just delivers. and the skits are amazing, and he is just so good. He is a clean comedian. He never swears. He does not talk politics in any way, shape, or form. He 100% is just his day-to-day life, his observations, how he sees the world through a simple Tennessee man's eyes, big dumb eyes. I just love this man so much. He has no antics on stage. He does not jump around, nothing. He literally walks in a circle nice and slow and just talks for a little over an hour, and everything is funny. He's just ridiculous. His family is ridiculous. His view on his family is ridiculous. I mean, there was talks from last night's set, talked about a lot of things, but him and his wife in marriage counseling is like, look, my wife and I, we're going to die together. Like, there's no problem. We're just like, I travel a lot now. Things have exploded. We just want to stay ahead of things and make sure. And just his take, and here he thought, like, he was funny because he was like, you know, I'm thinking like somebody else is going to like get it. Like it's her. It's her. She's the problem. Like, you know, he's like, you know, thumbing over next to her. And of course he's the problem. And as a woman therapist, he's like, I think her husband should come to our sessions just to kind of balance. I don't even say anything, just to balance out the room. It's just funny. He's ridiculous. He talks about how DoorDash is going to be the death of him, how he did a double dash and ordered something, you know, his number one from McDonald's with no onions, which is a Big Mac, no onions, and also double dash by getting a Dairy Queen Blizzard. And he thought that it was going to be a single driver going to both destinations. Well, it turned out to be two separate drivers, and he was mortified because some dude just dropped off his McDonald's bag on his front porch because no contact. It's like, nobody needs to know my shame. Nobody needs to put a face to the shame of what I'm doing. He's like, you put my McDonald's bag on the front porch, gets back into his car, and before he can pull out, the Dairy Queen driver came up and blocked him in. He's like, so now they know. Now they know. He's like, so now he does two separate orders. He'll order his McDonald's, and because you can track where the driver is, and as it's pulling into his neighborhood, then he orders his Blizzard. So the two shall never meet again. He's just ridiculously funny. He tells the story way better than I just did, folks. I mean, he's got so many things out on Netflix and Prime Video, but if you get a chance to see him live, highly recommend it. You just feed off the crowd. He's got a podcast. I forgot the name of it already, and I didn't look it up before we got on here. And some of the guys that are on his podcast were his openers. So he had an MC, this guy named Julian. He was very funny. I liked him a lot. I want to look up and see if he does any single tours himself, because I think he could put together a set pretty well. And then there were 3 other comedians that they all came up for like 15 minutes or so. So it was about an hour lead in with those 4 guys. And then Nate came out and talked for about an hour, 15, hour 20, something like that. And yeah, it was just so good. It was just so good. I did splurge in quotes because his tickets weren't very expensive, folks. It's going to sound like a splurge, but it really wasn't. Considering what we paid for Seth and John Oliver, this was nothing. But I did club level seating. Honestly, I don't know if I would do it again. It was fine. They have like a whole side that's a bar out in the, in the walking area, not in the where you're sitting. I did have a good view of Nate, but honestly, I watched the screen mostly because they had the big jumbotron of him on it and then him in the middle, and I could see him, and again, he's not really much of an antic or facial expression kind of guy. He's deadpan. He's telling something so ridiculous and his face is just nothing. Once in a blue moon, he'll smirk or like chuckle a little bit, but most of the time his face is just blank. So there really is no reason to watch him on the jumbotron is where I was going with that. But I couldn't help myself. It was right there. Yeah. That was really like, I could look straight ahead at the jumbotron. So for my eye level, it was perfect height and all that. whereas I had to look down a little bit to see him walking around the
Mhm,
stage.
mhm. The picture you sent where they showed his circular stage
Mhm.
there in the middle of the chairs.
Mhm.
Did you notice what those seats surrounding that stage went for? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I know Julian, his MC opening dude, made a lot of jokes at people who were still coming in. He's like, "Oh, the rich folks are coming in. Please, please come down. Come find your seat. We'll wait. Go ahead." And you know, it was just silly stuff like that. I'm sure they were more than what I paid,
Oh, sure, yeah. Well,
but
although, yeah, you were up club seating,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking to be close,
Yes.
what
I
that would.
honestly, for what a fan I am of his, I mean, this cinched it for sure. I probably would splurge and try and get a floor seat where I can actually see him and not
Yeah,
use the
yeah.
Jumbotron at all. I would like that very much. So,
No.
yes. And I learned as soon as he came on, he told us that he's hosting the Emmys tonight.
Oh, yes, that's right. And I do have it set up to record.
I texted Auntie Joan on my train ride back to my car, asking her if she would please record the Emmys because Nate is going to be the host. And he even said, he's like, yeah, they're not happy that I didn't cancel these shows. They're not happy that I'm here right now.
You said he added a third show
He
Sunday.
did. No. Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Friday night. Saturday matinee was added.
Oh, okay.
And then Saturday night. So no,
Okay.
he flew out probably first thing this morning back to LA or over to LA to do the Emmys. He's got a lot going on. He's got a new comedy series, like TV series coming out next year. They showed little clips of that, but it wasn't really about the show. It was about him not knowing how to act without a microphone. So every chance he got, he like snuck in a microphone on set. It was a little skit they did. It was very funny. But his show comes out in 2026. He is absolutely exploding on the scene, and he couldn't be more humble.
Now, you talk about you just finding out stuff like mustard. I mean, custard.
Custard.
I had heard the name Nate Bargatze.
Bargatze.
I remember when the last time he was on SNL, and I thought, oh, it's another comedian. I don't care. I'm not into comedians like Auntie is. So I didn't think that much of him. I didn't watch that SNL. I've never watched any of his shows on Netflix or whatever. And then I record Sunday morning on CBS. And sure enough, last week they had a segment on that show about Nate. I had no clue how popular he is. I mean, he sells out arenas.
Yeah. Ball Arena, folks, is where the Denver Nuggets play.
Yeah. And he added a third show.
He did.
And that's Denver.
And, imagine going to see him in the South where he's from.
Oh,
Could you imagine trying to see him in Tennessee? Because one of his first stand-ups was the Tennessee Kid. That's when I first saw him. And I was like, who is this ridiculousness? I just adore him.
and he's clean. That's what they said too.
100%. No
You
swearing,
can take your
no
kids.
politics.
You could take a family.
There was a kid
Were
there.
there? Yeah.
I saw one kid there. I'm sure there were others, but in my area, there was one. And pretty well behaved.
Unbelievable.
I didn't, he didn't bother. The kid didn't bug me like most kids do.
I was surprised, but I guess now I see why you like him so much.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I know you do like your clean comedians.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Seth is pretty clean.
Cleanish. He swears
Well,
a lot.
Yeah, he does, as does John Oliver.
Yes.
But still, they don't get nasty.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I just might tune in and watch old Nate.
I highly recommend him. Can't get enough. Yeah.
And
so
taking the train down to see him was a good way to go, huh?
It was. So I drive down to Golden at the federal government station. It's the beginning stop of the W line that takes you into downtown. And there's a stop right at Ball Arena.
Really? That's where it was?
Yeah. I mean, you could take it all the way into Union Station, but it's just stop before Union Station is Ball Arena. And then you walk. I mean, I think I told you last time it was like a block and a half. I don't even think it's that. I think maybe it's a true city block length. Not even like walk around the block. It's like one side of a city block. That's it to get to the, and when Hasty and I went and saw Queen a year or two ago at Ball Arena, it was quite the cluster to get in. You know, just a lot of people and all that. It was so easy last night. The doors opened at 6. My train got in at 6:35, so I think I was at the door at like 6:40. You go through like a scan thing, but there's no like put your purse in here, take your keys out. There's none of that crap. You just keep walking. You never stop. You have to use your phone. You have to use the app.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's a Ticketmaster app or you download it to your Google wallet, or I'm sure there's something similar for Apple. All electronic, cannot have paper anything. Supposedly there's a bag limitation size. I saw people with normal size purses and all that going in without any problems. So I think it just they haven't updated their website since COVID ended or ended in quotes, which my niece actually has COVID right now. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Kids, that's they're little disease factories.
Yeah, those dormitories, they're petri dishes, aren't they?
Exactly. She said that. There's a lot of kids sick there. Anywho, yeah, you just kept moving. And then there was a sign for me to go up the club level escalator. I double checked with the dude. I'm like, I'm supposed to go here, right? He's like, yes, you are, ma'am. Go right ahead. I whisked myself right on up there. I had to walk barely anywhere to get to my seat. It was all very convenient. It was
wow.
And that was just luck. I did not know the setup at Ball at all.
Yeah.
I've never sat in club level seating before. I didn't know where I was coming in versus where my seat was, and it turned out it was like practically right there. And I was like, oh, that was very easy.
So the winds of fortune are finally blowing in your direction, huh?
Let's hope. Let's hope this was a turn of events. But yeah, and I don't know what I paid. I didn't pay attention. I just slapped my card down because I didn't care. I got a cup because they don't serve anything in glassware, cup of wine, and a bucket of popcorn.
Ooh.
And I ate most of it all by myself.
Oh, I hope so.
It was a big bucket. They didn't have sizes. It was just like popcorn.
Oh, darn.
I know. And I was like, well, what you going to do? And I had a nice aisle seat, so it was easy for me. Yeah, it was great. I can't say enough about last night. Went very, very, very well. The only thing was I got home late. I didn't walk through the door until just about 11:30.
But I mean, you got out. What time did the show get out? So it's not like it was 11 o'clock. You left the place.
No. So the openings came on at a little after 7 because nothing starts on time. I want to say 7:15, 7:20, something like probably closer to 7:20. They came on. And then they were on for an hour, and then Nate did his hour. So we were out of there by like 9:20, something
That's
like
awesome.
that. And I was at the train platform at 9:31, I think.
Wow.
9:33, 9:31, something like that. But my train didn't come until 9:55, so I had to wait. And like I said, I saw those, the cars, and I was like, oh, I could be in my car. But then what I didn't tell you before was once we got on the train and started going, we went right by the parking lot. It was a cluster.
Oh,
fuck. And I was like, best decision ever to be on this train. I would be miserable if I was in because it was like a big funnel. All these people come from all different directions to get this one little tiny area. And I was like, oh, no. I was very happy. So from the time the show ended to the time I walked through my door at home, it was 2 hours. If I had gotten directly into my car, I would have been sitting in that traffic. I don't know. Maybe I could have shaved 20 minutes off. I don't know. For my frustration level, because once I got to my car, in Golden, there was no traffic. There was nobody. I drove nice and slow up the canyon because I was afraid because it was dark with the animals and stuff. It rained a little bit. So I went nice and slow. I was by myself. Some cars were coming, going the opposite direction, but nobody was behind me. Nobody was in front of me. So I could do whatever speed I wanted to without bothering anyone. And it was nice.
Did you have any rain down in Denver when
it rained, walking? But not when we were out, not when I was outside.
Oh, okay.
I did wear my little raincoat.
We had quite a nice rain here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it had rained here before I left, and it didn't rain the entire drive down or on the train ride to the Ball Arena. But at some point while we were inside, yes, it definitely rained down there. You could tell it did. And like I said, it rained a little bit on my ride home, but nothing terrible. I actually cleaned my windshield because there were a lot of bug splatters from the big ride up to South Dakota.
Oh, yeah.
So helped. I forgot to get it clean before I went down. As soon as I got in the car, I'm like, oh, shit. should have cleaned off the windshield. And I was like, oh, well, here I go. But I can do now. And the rain helped. And then I got it washed today. All worked out.
The whole car?
Yeah, I went through just a drive-through car wash up in Idaho Springs. I went to the grocery store.
I was holding off having mine washed until you had yours washed. Now I'm going to have mine washed.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I don't know. Mine's gray, so it doesn't show up that much.
But yes, 2 thumbs up, Nate Bargatze.
All righty.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a plan. A well spent evening.
It was. Agreed. I did not do dinner downtown. I ate here before I left, and then I had popcorn, of course, when I got there. But no, I decided not to. I thought about going down earlier and doing a dinner, and I was like, I feel like that's gonna add stress that I don't need.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
I'm like, why do that? I can eat here. It's fine. So I did. It worked out great. Yes.
Good on you.
Yeah. All right, Auntie Joan. Anything else for our listener today?
No. Nice catching up. I missed
Sorry. I know. A lot. To get through a no screens week, I needed to plan a lot of shit.
And I respected your...
You did.
Yes.
Very much. Very much so. Yes. Everyone did. I also texted Marcia on her birthday because I could not do that. Yeah. And I couldn't call because I was at the cabin. I had no phone. So that was another thing. But anyway, all right then. That wraps it for yet another wonderful Pickled Watermelon Rinds episode. This is Auntie signing off.
And Antie Joan saying bye-bye now.
We thank you for listening. And remember, when life eats away at your core, make pickled watermelon rinds.